kinfolk, it's RJ Young. I'm not on Step Mill. If this is your first time watching and Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. I did the rundown of the top 25 in the preseason coaches poll, and I told you some brief thoughts about what I thought about each team and where they were ranked. Now I'm going to pick out a team, my team, and talk about how in the hell did we get here? Those of y'all that are new to the channel, and I don't suppose that there are that many as it is, not even 2 weeks from when we start playing college football, when people will start discover, adapt, and respond to what we've been doing here since September of 2017. Talking college football, but we got started talking about Oklahoma football, which was not originally what I thought I was going to be doing here on the YouTube, let alone being a national college football analyst at Fox Sports covering college football. But this is a time when Oklahoma is on it, right? Baker Mayfield experience is coming to everybody, including Ohio State, where he planted that flag. And your man's on a piece of cardio equipment with an iPhone, cutting up, video in an efficiency apartment on his iPhone using iMovie. Real caveman stuff out here, dog. But I think the thing for you to know is Oklahoma being a part of the top 25 in any ranking, coaches poll, AP poll, college football playoff selection committee rankings, your poll, my poll, your mama's poll, Unc's poll, Oklahoma is in it because that's just what Oklahoma does. So now we have an unaccounted for anomaly for many, but for those of y'all that have been paying attention, it's accounted for. Oklahoma has not made this sort of mistake, if you will, in quite some time. We're talking about Oklahoma having 2 losing seasons in the last 3 years. Both of those belong to Brent Venables. Bob Stoops, he didn't do that. He what is a losing season? 8 wins? Is that what that is? 8 wins. 8 wins. 7 wins. Damn, that's bad. That's a losing season in Oklahoma. Now you're facing 6-7, sandwiching 10-3. Which is a great year, right? Should have been 11-2, but we don't have to keep it there, right? Dylan Gabriel experience was good to Oklahoma. The Jeff Lebby experience was what it was at Oklahoma. And now we're going into a prove-it year for Brent Venables, where the fire has been turned up. Like, y'all got the stove at the house. We use gas heat over here in Oklahoma with oil and gas state. I got a setting that is light, and I got a setting that is high. You light the fire, and you turn it to high, you're going to overcook the grits real quick, all right? In my house, at least, if you work in anything higher than 2, you're asking to burn whatever it is you're trying to cook in that pot. I'm curious to find out just how Oklahoma is simmering right now as we go into preseason camp, because a lot is riding on John Mateer and what he can do at Oklahoma at the quarterback position. Mostly because the only team that felt like it was in a worse position at quarterback among the Power 4 conference teams, particularly in the 2 best leagues in the entire country, was Michigan, right? Michigan averaged 5.4 yards per attempt, and yet they still beat Ohio State, who won the national championship, and they still beat Alabama, who was crying to everybody like they should have been in the college football playoff, and then got beat down by a Michigan team that ain't got no quarterback, okay? Basically playing a man down is what it felt like. Davis Warner threw for 1,199 yards. For perspective, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, wide receiver, he caught 1,315 yards. Can't be that way at a place like Michigan. Can't be that way at a place like Oklahoma. So John Mateer is coming in with 3,000 yards passing, 3,100, 800 yards on the ground. Sack adjusted, you get him over 1,000 yards. Jay Knott in the backfield. If he's healthy, you're ready to go. That's a 1,300-yard back. Oklahoma hasn't had that kind of a back since Eric Gray, 2022, I believe. And now we're looking at Brent Venables calling the defense with R. Mason Thomas coming off the edge, the Bowen brothers in the back end. But something got to give this year, because I'm telling you, this could be the beginning of something that is really cool or really bad at Oklahoma. Like, the Nebraska Big Ten experience is staring Oklahoma in the face if this season does not go well, because they got off on the wrong foot in the SEC. Meanwhile, Texas is sitting there at number 1, arch nemesis Texas, number 1 team in the country according to preseason polls by the coaches poll, which is usually SIDs and whatnot voting on behalf of their coaches, but it is what it is on that. But this is also not really the one that we pay the most attention to. The one we pay most attention to outside of my top 25 and my 136 at Fox Sports, obviously, is the AP poll up until the college football playoff selection committee rankings come out. But if you want to tell me the preseason rankings don't matter, dog, you click through the thumbnail. Who are you trying to prove that to? Who are you trying to convince that the preseason rankings don't matter? If you're here now, listening, watching, yes, they matter. Yes, they matter. You know, like I almost want to be out here like the old school rock. It doesn't matter what. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It absolutely matters. And it matters in a place like Oklahoma where you have been able to count on this, right? Oklahoma being a preseason top 25 team. I mean, that's my childhood. That's my middle school. That's my high school. That's my college. That's my grad school. That's most of my adult life. I turned 38 last month, dog. That means the last time that Oklahoma was not in the coaches poll top 25, your man was 12 years old. That's a long time to be high on the hog. It's a long time to be feasting. But now, Oklahoma's got his back against the wall. But I enjoy it. I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy being King Kong, Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? The Alabama experience as it was with Nick Saban, the Georgia experience as it is with Kirby Smart, even the Ohio State experience what it is with Ryan Day. The only thing that I enjoy almost as much as I enjoy having a foot on the neck is back against the wall, getting up off the mat and saying, all right, now we can go fight somebody, right? Because there's nothing else here. There's nothing to surprise you. There's no other way for you to go about your business except to put your head down and go to work. Now, I don't believe in the blocking out the noise BS. I think that's something coaches say. I think we've never been able to do that. And even more now because there's so many different ways to reach somebody and or to distract them. That everything is a distraction, which means that everything can mean nothing if you were that strong a person. But I don't expect a 17 to 22-year-old to be that strong in their mental game. Not yet. You got to be able to throw your phone over there, and they just ain't capable of doing that. However, I do believe in keeping a list, checking it twice, and going systematically down it. You ain't got to tell nobody about it. Don't be petty about it out loud. Be petty about it in here. And that's where Oklahoma's been living for damn near, what? We're coming up on 118 years since statehood, right? It is, this is the Dust Bowl. Don't nobody want to live here. Tornado Alley. Don't nobody want to live here. That's why Lincoln Riley left, right? He went to LA where there's stuff going on. Texas gets to pull from everywhere where the whole state of Texas plays football. Oklahoma is 4 million people. Most of us live in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, or Norman. But that ain't what makes this state go. What makes this state go is we're harder than you. Harder than you. You know, nothing I really want to be harping on all that much, but knuckles get scarred. Tulsa Tough is here, right? Texas doesn't want to come north of the Red River. We got to go down to Texas to play them because they're scared like that. You want to move the Cotton Bowl game to Austin? Cool, bet. We'll go there. Y'all don't come to Norman. Come to Norman. We'll treat you right. We'll pat you on the behind, tell you you're doing pretty good, send you back down there to Texas where you were once a state, we were once a country, then you got annexed, got put in check. Juneteenth is because of y'all, okay? Texas being a number one is a whole mood, though, and we need to talk about it right after this break. Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Texas can go wide or wide as the number one team in the entire country? That means that you expect either them to beat Ohio State on August 30th in what has become a 1 versus 2 according to the coaches poll, or you expect them to lose that game. Please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give a pick on this game. I'm just not going to do it right now. I'm not going. Why would I do that right now? That's not what you want. You want me to be able to tease this all the way out. We got to wait until some things happen. Hell, somebody could get hurt during preseason camp, which could sully the pick, which frankly is what Texas did last year. CJ Baxter got hurt. Christian Clark got hurt. Can't count on Quinn Ewers to make it through the entire season healthy, but that's why you got Arch Manning. Also, Arch Manning's coming into his first game against a top 25 opponent in Ohio State, let alone the defending national champions, right? I should say as a starter. Arch Manning's first game as a starter at quarterback. They expect to be good, though. DeAndre Moore wants to win the Biletnikoff Award. He wants to win. He wants to have the most touchdowns in a single season by a Texas wide receiver. He wants to have the most receiving yards in a single season by a Texas wide receiver. He wants to be a Monstar, and he's got that sort of ability. He can be great. But to do all of that, I think, you can get them Texas records just by playing in Texas. You want to be the Biletnikoff Award winner. There's that dude named wearing 4 over there that's from Earth 838. And he he ain't regular, DeAndre. He ain't regular. That man single-handedly put the whooping on Oregon. Then Texas said, we're going to bracket him. Okay, cool. We'll put the whooping on you too with Carnell Tate, with Brandon Ennis, with these bevy of running backs we got. I would remind you, Texas scored 38 points in his 2 previous games until it played Ohio State, and then scored 14 points. So the defense that last year was nasty too. I have every expectation that the defense is going to be nasty this year. Will Matt Patricia take a little while to get going? I don't think so. I really don't. You got Caleb Downs. You got, oh my gosh, Edric Houston going down. That hurts. That sucks. I hate that for him. But CJ Hicks, I expect him to jump up. Sonny Styles is going to be a dude. Like, they got guys, right? Arbel Reese is a dude. Meanwhile, Texas, like RG, saying that like Michael Taft and Anthony Hill and Trey Moore ain't right there. Colin Simmons ain't right there. Yeah, they are. It's going to be a great game, and I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a big noon. 11 a.m. kickoff Central Standard Time. I know y'all are very happy about that. I know you're extremely excited. I know there was no other time slot in the world that made you as excited as hearing about 11 a.m. kickoff for what is the biggest game of the college football Labor Day weekend, which is also the weekend in which we go to work. We go ham during that weekend. And then the NFL starts up and people forget about the sport until the College Football Playoff Selection Committee does its thing. They forget about it again until we start playing meaningful games, New Year's Six Bowls, College Football Playoff is going 12 teams, straight seeded, revenue sharing, the whole lot. I think for me, this game is going to come down to the matchups of the quarterbacks. Julian Sand is going to be real raw. I'm assuming he's going to win the job. Lincoln Kienholz could win the job. I don't think Lincoln Kienholz is going to win the job. I make this segment like 5 times already in the last 6 months, and we'll probably make it again as Ryan Day says something different. But if you're asking me, Julian Sand is going to be your guy. Behind him, it's much more interesting. CJ Donaldson transfers in from West Virginia, drops some weight, ought to be fast and powerful. We expect James Peoples is going to be a dude in that tailback room. We know they have experience on the offensive line because they were hurt across it last year. We know that Max Clare figures to be a real piece that they can use at tight end. I can't wait to see what Keegan Bailey comes up to do with him. I mentioned the wide receiving core, but that's Brian Hartline, who's now the OC and who now has the play calling privileges. It's going to look a lot like the offense did last year. I don't think anything's going to change. I think it's going to be more like, hey, this is what we run. So now everybody runs it. This is what Mike Gundy did at Oklahoma State, and it's had mixed results. With Ryan Day still being head coach, still being very, very heavily involved in what the offense is doing, I have every expectation that Brian Hartline is going to be just fine as the OC and wide receivers coach. Billy Thesler, he's going to have a job, right? Assuming that Julian is the guy, keeping him under wraps, making sure that he makes the routine plays, making sure he doesn't put them into unmanageable situations or gets them out of bad plays. That's going to be it. And that Texas front seven is going to come after him. Pete Kwiatkowski is one of the best guys in the entire country at calling defense. And that's the other thing I think Texas has over Ohio State. Continuity, frankly. Steve Sarkisian kept himself as OC, but also Kyle Flood as his offensive coordinator. Not Jeff Sarkisian. Banks, goodness me. As special teams coordinator, Pete Kwiatkowski, I mentioned, that core group now has been there forever. And that matters. Meanwhile, Ryan Day had to replace the offensive and defensive coordinator, right? How much of that is going to translate into the game as opposed to knowing what you had in a guy like Chip Kelly who knows your offense and took a little bit of time to figure it out, frankly. They went away from running the ball as often as they did and started throwing the ball to number 4, which is football, one-on-one. Who's the best player on the field? Get him the ball as often as you can. I still don't know who that is on the offensive side for Texas, and I think we're going to figure that out. You would tell me it's Arch Manning, but Arch Manning's not going to be throwing the ball to himself. He's got wheels. He's probably going to make some plays that other quarterbacks cannot make by themselves. But DeAndre Moore is going to need to show up in that slot. You're going to need to see Ryan Wingo come on in a big way. Jack Indries, transfer from Cal, expect him to show out. And then I would love to see if CJ Baxter is still the guy from Edgewater that I remember who is a monster. That dude can absolutely fly. You just need him to be healthy for the entire season. And then, not to mention, Quintravian Wisener is probably going to be the first guy getting reps because Steve Sarkisian goes out of his way at SEC Media Day to say, hey, you guys do know that we returned the SEC's leading rusher, right? And I'm going, 1,046 yards, 15 games, sure, okay. I also expect that to be your number 2 back when we get to playing OU Texas. which is something else entirely, right? But this is going to set the table for how we view Texas and Ohio State. More importantly, how we view the Big Ten and the SEC. Assume Ohio State beats Texas 56-14. Let's just assume it. We're going to look at the rest of the SEC and say, are y'all really as good as you think you are? If this is what's going on with your number one ranked team, they're going to be, hey, Texas new, right? Georgia, Alabama, LSU, compare that. No, it's not how it works. With the roster management, with the turnover, you can get whomever you want. And the thing about Texas has always been true. They will have a top 5 recruiting class. They will get whomever they need to in the transfer portal. And they got more money than Oral Roberts, who threw it up in the air and once said, what God catches, he keeps. It's a true story. You should go look that up. It would tell you to put your hands, lay hands on the television set. Potter's house. That's Leroy Thompson. My bad, Pastor Thompson. Dr. Fred Price. Don't make me get on my TBN right now, but like that got under my skin. The whole what God catches in the air or throws in the air, God catches, he keeps. That got under my skin. I ain't like that not one bit. It's like, RJ, that's your hometown school. It's one of them. I don't claim Bishop Kelly, Metro Christian, Cassia, Highland Hall. Victory was over there. Church on the Move was over there. Higher Dimension. Some of y'all will never know what Higher Dimension was or what it is and how it was getting down with Bishop Pierceman over there. There was ladies that were showing up there. And let me tell you something. Sinning was on some minds when they saw Bishop Pearson, who I swear to you, for years, I thought that was Prince. I'm a kid now. I'm a child. I'm like, why is Prince giving a sermon? It's going to be loud. It's going to be fun. And there's going to be some sinning on some minds when we talk about Ohio State playing Texas. I think one of the other things that we're going to have to really pay attention to is how conservative they plan to play it on 3rd and short, on 4th and short, who goes for it, who decides to just punt the ball back to the other team and play conservative football. I think Ohio State should believe it has an edge here because this game is in Columbus. And if you've been to a game at the Shoe or you plan to be at the Shoe, it ain't a fair place to play. The last SEC team to go into the Shoe and think they were going to win also wore orange. And they got the 4.5 now. They got beat down like they stole something. I have every expectation that this could be exactly how it goes for Texas. But you know what? Then I think, I don't know, dog. Michael Taft's an All-American. Anthony Hill's the best linebacker in the SEC this side of Harold Perkins. Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, they're going to be monsters. CJ Baxter is my X factor. What's he going to be like? DeAndre Moore talking his noise. Ryan Wingo's that dude. And it's like, hey, stop all that, RJ. Jeremiah Smith's over there. I'll say it. Please be healthy for the entire year, JJ.